Connect with y'all through this message right quick. Know what I'm saying? Spending time with God is a skill. Hey, what's up? It's Patrick. It's Roseby Fire. And I pray this message reaches who it needs to reach. So let's talk about spending time with God is a skill, man. Know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. School should have been teaching us this type of stuff, man. What was school teaching us, bro? Man, I say school, man. School was teaching us about a bunch of stuff that we don't even be using in real life. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. We ain't even learn nothing spiritual in school, bro. We ain't even learn nothing spiritual. We learn a bunch of like stuff that don't even matter, and then we learn a bunch of stuff that's worldly stuff. But they weren't even putting us onto no spiritual game, bro. Know what I'm saying? But school should have been teaching us that spending time with God is a skill, bro. Know what I'm saying? Spending time with God is a skill, bro. I'ma be real with you, bro. If there was like a school for God's kingdom, like a spiritual school, man, and let's say I had a chance to like teach a class, man, my class would be called like spiritual education, man. And I be telling people, man, like just really teaching this stuff for real. And you gotta understand, even these messages like that I do for God, all these messages that I'm doing for God, this is pretty much spiritual education right here. All these messages that I'm doing digitally, all these digital messages and everything, bro. This right here is spiritual education, bro. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is spiritual education, man. And I just really wanted to talk about this, man. Like, spending time with God is a skill, bro. Let's get into this topic, man. Spending time with God is a skill, and it's a rare skill, because majority of people today, man, these people don't have the skill of spending time with God, bro. Majority of people do not have the skill of spending time with God. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real with you, man. Majority of people, they do not have the skill of spending time with God. And I'm gonna use my life as an example, right? I spend a lot of time with God based on the work that I do for God. Because you gotta understand, bro, when you're doing God's work for your life and you're doing what God called you to do, that's a form of spending time with God too. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that I do struggle with, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, I struggle with like that quiet time. I feel like there's different ways of spending time with God. You could spend time with God while doing what God called you to do, but I feel like there's also that quiet time with God where you're just worshiping Him and really getting into His presence and this and that. Let it be you playing worship music and this and that. I struggle with that more than I struggle with just putting in the work for God's kingdom. And I'm still building on that. I'm still working on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still working on that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think like, oh, followers of God is these perfect people, man. Man, we not perfect. We battle all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got areas that we are good at, and then we got areas that we struggle at. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality, bro. But like, spending time with God is a skill, man. It's like a muscle. For the people out there who know about like muscles and like going to the gym and all this stuff, I'm gonna use different examples. Spending time with God is like a muscle, brother. You know what I'm saying? That you build. You could have a person that's really skilled at spending quiet time with God. That's a skill, bro. When you really skilled at spending that quiet time with God, you know what I'm saying? When I say quiet time, you could have worship music playing. I feel like that's a part of that quiet time. What I mean is like you're not really like physically doing stuff. Like you just sitting in His presence and just worshiping Him. I feel like that's what I mean when I say quiet time. Obviously, you could still have worship music playing, or you could, without music. You get what I'm saying? But spending time with God is a skill, bro, and it's like a muscle that you gotta keep working. You gotta keep working that muscle of spending time with God. And it's so sad that this world and school didn't teach us that spending time with God is a skill. Imagine they told us this in school. Man, we would have been skilled at spending time with God. We would have been skilled at spending time with God and spending time in God's presence. If school taught us this stuff, we would have been skilled by now. We would have been very skilled at spending time with God. We would have been really got this stuff down for real. You know what I'm saying? We would have been skilled at spending that quiet time with God, worshiping, praising God, talking to God, pouring our hearts out to God. But instead, it's like we are skilled in doom scrolling. We are skilled in like being distracted by social media and doom scrolling for hours. We spend more time on our phones than we spend with God. That's what we're skilled in. You know what I'm saying? But imagine we was taught about spending time with God as a skill, bro. This is why spiritual education is very important. And I already did another message talking about spiritual education, man. I already did another message talking about spiritual education, bro, because it's very important. Because if you don't have the spiritual education, it's like you led astray. You are led astray in this world that's filled with lies and all types of like these distractions, temptations. We need that spiritual education, man. Know what I'm saying? And spending time with God is like a muscle. I was using like, you know, the muscle example for the people out there who go to the gym and this and that. I was using that example because they gonna understand that example like a muscle. A lot of people gonna understand that example, you know what I'm saying? But let me get into the next example. For the gamers out there, spending time with God is a skill. It's kind of like collecting your skill points in a video game. Now I'm relating to the gamers out there. Spending time with God is a skill. It's kind of like collecting your skill points in a video game. It's kind of like building your loadout in a video game. Getting up your skill points, your armor, your gear. Getting to like a higher tier of gear and getting your skill points up and all this stuff. Spending time with God is a skill, man. It's like you're collecting skill points and spending time with God. You're building your loadout and spending time with God. You're building your gear, your armor up and spending time with God. You see what I'm saying? This stuff is a skill, bruh. And imagine this message was really taught in school and they put it like this for real. They made it simple and they just spending time with God is a skill. You know what I'm saying? Spending time with God is a skill and they really just put it out there, bro. Man, we would have been got it, bro. We would have been got this stuff. We would have been ran with the game and we would have became better at spending time with God, bro. But like I said, bro, these schools, they don't even care about the spiritual things of God, bro. I'm going to be real with you. These schools, man, majority of these schools, they ain't not teaching nothing spiritual, bro. You know what I'm saying? Spending time with God, I mean, yeah, spending time with God is a skill and it helps us to not drift away from God. Spending time with God keeps us from drifting from God, bro. When you spend time with God, it keeps you from drifting from God. The reason why a lot of people drift from God is because they don't have the skill of spending time with God. In order for us to not drift away from God, we have to spend time with God. That's the importance of spending time with God. It keeps us away. It keeps us from drifting from God, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why we be over consuming social media and all this stuff is because we're not spending time with God. The reason why we're drifting from God is because we're not spending enough time with God. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we're addicted to doom scrolling is because we're not spending enough time with God. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we try to fill a void of loneliness and all this stuff and we're trying to latch on to all these different people on social media and all this stuff is because we're not spending enough time with God. You know what I'm saying? And it's rare to find someone who has that skill of spending time with God. It's rare to find a person who has the skill of spending time with God. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the rarest things you're going to find. It's already hard enough finding somebody who's willing to really follow God and to follow God's truth. But it's even more rare to find somebody who has the skill of spending time with God. That's like 99% of people do not have this skill, because 99% of people is out here following the world, following all these trends and religions and all this stuff. Like, it's so many distractions and temptations in this world. So spending time with God is a skill that is so rare. It is so rare, because even finding people who want to follow God is rare, who are willing to put in God, who are willing to put in the work for God's kingdom is rare. Finding the people who really accept God for who he truly is, and they accept God's truth, and they're willing to save souls from hell, that's already rare. But a person who has the skill of spending time with God is even more rare than all of, is damn near more rare than even that. Is even more rare than even that. Very, very rare, bro. Very rare, because everybody is not worried about spending time with God. Nobody cares about spending time with God. People care about hanging out with their friends, what they got to do this weekend, what club they going to, smoking, drinking, what with this and that, like da 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 da. Nobody cares about spending time with God, bro. I'm being real with you. This is rare. Such a rare skill, bro. Such a rare skill. And school should have been teaching us this stuff, man. Such a rare skill, man. Know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, man. Know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the people out there who support my website, man. Know what I'm saying? Peace.